Another college football story that we need to share, and that is about Clemson assistant coach Danny Pearman, who acknowledges using a racial slur in a 2017 practice. This yesterday after several former Clemson players recalled the incident on Twitter, and former tight end DJ Greenlee confirmed the story to the state newspaper. Pearman apologized for the incident. Here is his statement. He said, 3 years ago on the practice field, I made a grave mistake involving DJ Greenlee. I repeated a racial slur I overheard when trying to stop the word from being used on the practice field. What I overheard, I had no right to repeat. While I did not direct the term at any player, I know there was no excuse for my using the language in any circumstance. I never should have repeated the phrase. It was wrong when I said it, and it is wrong today. I apologized to DJ at the conclusion of practice, who then appropriately raised this concern to Coach Swinney. The coach and I met to discuss the incident, and he reiterated that my language was unacceptable. I later apologized again, as well as expressed my sincere regret to our position group the following day. And Domonique rejoins us here, Laura, and Paul Finebaum is with us. And Paul, I was just getting some notes during the break on some people that you have been speaking to, parents of the coaches and players involved here. I'd love you to share whatever it is you can report for us.
Yeah, what's really interesting, the player who brought this out in a post is the son of one of the legendary Clemson players of all time, Perry Tuttle. He was the star of Clemson's national championship team in '81, and he told me this morning he stands by his son. He'll have a further statement later. And another conflicting thing here is, where is Dabo Swinney in all this, Greenlee? Dabo Swinney, I think, is very conflicted because he played for Danny Pearman at Alabama. Danny was an assistant coach there under Gene Stallings for 7 years. Danny Pearman's also an executive. He's on the board of the American Football Coaches Association. He's well respected, but so far his response, I think most people are going to find to be very lame.
Domonique, I wonder your perspective on this as we watched this story develop yesterday. What thoughts were going through your mind?
I mean, to be honest with you, I don't care much what happens to Danny Pearman. Like, this is the old racism sleight of hand where you find somebody who's said or done something super racist and everyone says, look, over there, and distracted from what's actually happening. And I'm not going to let people off the hook that easily. Just because you can find someone who said a bad word doesn't mean that there aren't more pernicious things taking place that need to be addressed. And I'd rather look at Dabo Swinney like Paul just said. I think Dabo has an opportunity right now. And football coaches often talk about sacrifice and how you got to sacrifice for the greater good. And I think this is their time to show us. And Dabo, I'm speaking to him and all the other coaches at Power 5 schools. This is your time to show us. You always talk about sacrifice for what you believe in, sacrifice for what you care about. I expect them to sacrifice in this moment and do something. Use this opportunity to move us forward, whether it's something big like standing for or demanding some police reform in South Carolina, or it's something smaller like doing weekly book clubs on social media about reading books that deal with social injustice. Something like I expect them to do something, and something that causes them to make some sort of sacrifice, because that's what shows me what you really believe in. You can say what you want, but what you do is what matters, and I expect them to do something. All of the coaches, not just Dabo Swinney, but all of them. I expect them to do something, and not because they have to engender themselves to future recruits to find the next person that's going to power them to a big contract. Not because of that, because it's the right thing to do. And coaches so often use religion and Jesus and church to galvanize their group. Like, this is an opportunity. I'm pretty sure that Jesus would step up in this moment, and your religion would require you to step up in this moment and do something about what you're seeing.
Laura, these are such extraordinary times. No one talks to more coaches and players and administrators than you do. What sorts of things are you hearing in those conversations?
Well, Greenlee, I think it's really interesting to hear what P.J. Fleck has been doing, because he is the guy that's coaching Minnesota's football team, of course, the state where George Floyd was killed. And he said that his team is about 50% black and 50% white. And one of the things that was really important to him is getting all the parents on a video call together. And I realize it would be more impactful right now if they could all be together, but that's just not the case in what we're dealing with currently in our country and in our world. And so they were on this video call together, and he said it was really important to make sure that every single parent that would be available would be there. He wanted the white parents to hear from the black parents and vice versa. And he said it was a really important conversation that they walked away from. And so that's one thing, and that's what Minnesota's doing, and I think that's something that we'll see a lot of these other schools doing. I did talk to one player this morning at a different school who said that they've had a number of conferences and a number of chats with their coaches in the wake of all the recent news. and that his own mother said that she really never saw an opportunity for this type of progress, that she was amazed that this was happening right now. That really hit him hard, that he was doing something or being a part of conversations that his mother didn't think would be possible in her lifetime.
As we cross